Hey you guys, I'm back. The Lord is just like, listen, we're gonna talk today. um, this will be a very quick word. So I want to just share with you guys, and I really feel this very strongly in my spirit. For anyone that's going through a season of transition currently, which I am, many others are as well, it's uncomfortable. Seasons of transition are meant to, you're outgrowing the season that you're in. That's why it feels uncomfortable, because you're no longer fitting in the space that you were once being incubated in, that you were once being fed in, that you were once just being pruned and prepared. God has to move you. God has to raise you up so that you can now walk in what you've learned, what you've really just allowed the Holy Spirit to come in and work in you. He wants you now to walk these things out. And there's no fear in the season of transition. Like two things I'll say. When it comes to transitioning, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel like you're being pushed, but in a loving way. It's like, no, you could do this. Let's go. You could do this. It feels that way. It doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel like you're striving. It feels like it's the perfect time, and whatever that looks like in your life. And the other thing I will say is there's no fear in a season of transition. It's going to feel scary. You're going to feel, this is new. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea, but this is the perfect opportunity to trust the Lord. This is the perfect opportunity for God to raise you up and show you what he can do, what he says about you, who he is in general. And for many of us, and this word isn't for everybody, so please pray over this word. And if it's not for you, in due season, the Lord will reveal. But this word, I know it's for many people in this very moment that are just going through a season of transition. And I want to say it's so many of us. And however, it could be from anything of relocating to a new state or country, to transitioning and moving away from within the same city. It could be a transition of maybe your finances. It could be a transition of your relationship, and maybe the Lord's taking you out of a relationship. Transitions always feel uncomfortable, but they are worth it. They are worth us trusting God. It is worth us really seeing the hand of God, because he's working. God is working. God is moving. He is making ways. He's making things happen on our behalf that we could never do in our own strength. God gives us his strength that we will stand in faith. We will stand in joy. We will stand in his peace that surpasses our own understanding. And so as I have been in this season of transition, this is the biggest transition of my life. As I have been in a season of transition, and for many of you don't know, I've relocated to a whole new state alone. And I've had questions. I've had doubts. I've had my moments, and being very real with you guys, I've had moments where I was like, did I make the right choice? But God's peace has always been with me. He has never left me. He has never forsaken me. He has never left me to figure it out on my own. God has been showing up each and every single day because I am trusting in God. I am putting my faith in God. And in transitions, you'll realize that you have nothing else. You have nothing else. You have no one else other than God. God will oftentimes, he will allow certain things to be removed. He will allow you to go through a season where you're consecrated, a season where you feel like you're alone, right? Even though you may have people around you, it may feel like no one understands me. I feel misunderstood. I feel as though I'm going through this alone. I feel like my family is against me. My back is up against the wall. But oftentimes God will allow certain things to happen so that you can take from it and build purpose in that, and build your testimony in that, and build your faithfulness in that, and build your trust in that, because we don't lack a single thing with the Lord. He's always teaching us. He's always pruning us for the next place, for the next season, for who it is we're called to serve. And I want to share this because I know there's no other choice other than moving forward. We cannot quit. We cannot throw in the towel because we don't feel like doing the work, or it's uncomfortable, or it's scary. But God is with us. He says, greater is he that is in you than he that lives in the world. Who lives within us? Who dwells within us? It is the Holy Spirit. It is God, the creator of all things. God is seated on his throne. He has not missed you. He has not bypassed you. He has not left you. God is moving you. God is moving you. Even in moments where it seems like it's still, he wants you in that moment to be still. There's a moment where there's connectors coming in, maybe divine helpers coming in. He wants you to bless them. He wants you to speak to them. He wants you to do something in this area where they're going to be fed. You're going to be fed. With God, we don't lack anything. As he brings people into our life, they may be pouring into us, but we're pouring into them. Notice how God is so good. We don't walk away empty-handed. We are constantly being poured. And when we feel like we're running out of oil, when we're running out of just, of what's the word? Of just being in fullness, that's when we come back to the heart of God and we rest and we lay everything down at his feet so that he can pour into us, that we may continue to keep walking forward. And so, a lot of the things God has been showing me is just so amazing, because he's showing it to me as I'm walking things out, as I'm walking his word out, as I'm walking his fruits out, as I'm walking his peace out, as I'm walking his joy out. I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm learning for the very season that I'm in, but also most importantly for what it is he's called me to do, because there's so many that need to hear these words. I'm a willing vessel for the kingdom. So it's the same with you. God is going to raise you up, and he already has been raising you up in your gifts. Continue to let him do that in your life. But most importantly, we have to take our own comprehensions. We have to take our own mindset, our own thoughts, and we have to lay them at his feet every single day. Because what we see is not because of our own mindset. It is because of, we have to take what God says, what God's doing, God's faithfulness, God's love, God's wisdom, and we take that into discernment, into discerning what's right in front of us. Because I'm telling you, as I'm walking forward, I'm just like, I need God's wisdom. I need the Lord's instructions. I need the Lord's insight, because there's no way I could do this on my own. And that's for his children. That's how important it is to have a personal relationship with God. It is the best relationship, the only relationship that you will have that is so full, and that he gives you all that you need so that you're able to share that with the relationships and connections around you. So before I ramble, I just wanted to share this with you guys. I pray that this word bless you guys. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon.